Hi Capricorn, how's it going? I hope you're doing wonderful today. Welcome to my channel. My name is Lynn and I'm doing a Celtic Cross spread for you. These are the cards that came out for you today. It's a general reading, so it may or may not resonate with you. Just take what resonates, leave the rest. And I also pulled an advice card at the very end. So the first card that came out is the King of Cups. Or sorry, the Five of Cups. That's the King of Cups. The Five of Cups. And this card represents your current situation. And this card is about, I'll just show you here. You see the 2 cups standing up and the 3 spilled. So this points to emotional disappointment or regret, or focusing on what's been lost instead of what still remains. So you have 2 cups still, but you're focusing on the 3 that are spilled. Okay? So this card is about you've been carrying the weight of something quietly. It's either a relationship setback, it could be career frustration, a missed opportunity, or it could be disappointment in yourself. Your energy, Capricorn, you usually stay composed and productive on the outside. So this card can indicate grief or discouragement that hasn't been fully expressed. Okay? The 3 of Cups here that are spilled represent loss, sadness, or fixation on what went wrong. But the 2 of Cups still standing is all about, represents hope or support or future possibilities that are still available to you. So, but you're focusing on this. Your perspective is blocked by pain right now. So you may be emotionally stuck in a recent disappointment, or you may be processing endings or unmet expectations, or you could be withdrawing emotionally or replaying the past. And the card that I pulled out before this reading was patterns. It was a daily card that I pulled for the collective, and that's what it was about. Replaying things, repeating things. There's still something salvageable though, or meaningful available to you, because you have the 2 of Cups, but you might not be ready to see it yet. This card could also connect strongly to burnout. Maybe you're experiencing burnout or emotional isolation, or you're feeling unappreciated, or you're realizing a goal didn't bring the fulfillment you expected it would. And then the second card represents what's crossing you, or what's challenging you, or your situation, or what it could be what you're celebrating. So you got the 6 of Wands reversed. So this card with the 5 of Cups can be strongly tied to disappointment mixed with a wounded pride. Or there could be recognition issues, or it could represent a loss of confidence. In the crossing or challenge position, this card is about not feeling seen or not being appreciated. Or there could be a fear of failure or public embarrassment. This card could also suggest setbacks around your reputation or your career or your achievement. Maybe you're comparing yourself to others, or you're needing validation that isn't arriving. And this hits hard because your energy is deeply connected to competence and status and achievement and respect. So the Five of Cups, your first card, may not only be emotional pain, but it could also include maybe you feel like you failed, or you're losing momentum, or you're not getting the recognition you expected. Or you're realizing that external success didn't heal something within you internally. So these two cards, the Five of Cups and this card here, the Six of Wands reverse, can be saying that you're grieving a setback, or you're feeling overlooked despite all your effort, or you're doubting yourself after disappointment, or maybe you're withdrawing emotionally because your confidence took a hit. This card can indicate that the challenge is internal validation. So Capricorn, you may be measuring your worth through success or praise or attention or outcomes. And then the Five of Cups shows what happens when those things fall away. You're left with confronting emotional reality underneath. Maybe you're focused on what didn't work out. And part of the pain comes from feeling unseen or unsuccessful or unacknowledged. But this period is forcing a deeper rebuilding of confidence that doesn't rely entirely on external approval. And if we're looking at this card as not a challenge, but something you're celebrating, it could mean that you're stepping away from ego, or you're rejecting performative success, or you're no longer needing public validation. But with the Five of Cups beside it, the challenge interpretation feels stronger so far. And then your third card is your foundation card. This is really important because with these two cards, we're not sure without reading this card, you got the Strength card. So this is telling you exactly the outcome from these two cards. These two cards are like, after looking at these two cards, is your energy leading towards recovery or transformation or reconciliation or a bigger turning point? And you got the Strength card. Okay. So underneath the disappointment of the Five of Cups and the shaken confidence of the reversed Six of Wands, this card says that you've been holding yourself together for a long time. Capricorn, the Strength card, Leo energy, for your foundation, this card is saying that you have deep inner resilience. You have emotional endurance. You have self-control. You have quiet courage. And you're surviving very difficult circumstances without falling apart publicly. You keep functioning even while hurting. You may appear to be composed or capable or emotionally controlled, but the Strength card shows how much energy it's taken for you to maintain that stability. It could also indicate, the Strength card can also indicate that you're suppressing emotions to stay strong, or you're carrying burdens silently, or you're trying to master your instincts or your fears or your anger or your heartbreak through discipline. This card says you're hurt. This card says you don't feel recognized or victorious. And the Strength card says you haven't given up though. You haven't given up. The Strength card at the root can also imply that your situation has been building for a while. Maybe you've been enduring something difficult longer than you should. Or you're trying to stay patient and mature. Or you're holding back emotional reactions to maintain control. There's also a lesson here about soft strength versus your usual survival mode. Strength is not force or domination, it's compassion, emotional mastery, grace under pressure. This card Spirit may be asking you to stop treating vulnerability like weakness. So you're emotionally affected by a disappointment or loss. Your confidence or sense of recognition has been shaken, and you may feel unseen despite all your efforts. But at the core of your situation is tremendous resilience and inner strength. You've been carrying way more than others realize. And this period is testing not whether you're strong, but how you relate to your own emotional world. And then the next card will tell us whether this turns toward healing, a breakthrough, withdrawal, reconciliation, or reinvention, just like the Strength card. And you got the King of Wands. So you either previously embodied strong leadership, confidence, ambition, and momentum, or you dealt with a powerful, charismatic, driven person whose influence still affects your situation now. So the reading is starting to show a contrast between who you were and how you currently feel. This card is your fourth card, the King of Wands, represents your past, but is relevant to your current situation. And this card can be saying that you once felt highly motivated or in control or admired or creatively energized, or you were certain about where you were headed. But the current sadness may partly stem from falling from that state. This is someone who once felt powerful or respected and is now questioning themselves. So maybe you once felt powerful or respected and now you're questioning yourself. If we're looking at with regards to your career, this card is saying that this card could represent a leadership setback, or it could be burnout after an intense ambition. Or maybe there's a conflict with authority. Or maybe you're losing enthusiasm for a path you once loved. Or you're feeling disconnected from your former fire. With regards to love or personal dynamics, the King of Wands in the past, it can represent a charismatic former partner or a passionate connection, or someone dominant or inspiring. Or it could represent a relationship that was built on attraction and ambition and strong personalities. Because the King of Wands is fire energy, there's also a theme of identity tied to drive and achievement. So this card may be saying that you've been operating in go mode for so long that now with the Five of Cups, you're being forced into emotional reflection that you can't avoid. The Strength card and the King of Wands is suggesting that you are so not weak. You are so not weak. Normally, you are exceptionally capable. That's why the current emotional heaviness feels so significant. It's affecting you, who, Capricorn, you're someone who is usually very resilient and self-directed and composed. That's why this current emotional heaviness feels so significant. You once carried strong confidence or direction or leadership energy, but something shifted emotionally. It could have been a disappointment or a loss that has shaken your sense of recognition or your sense of certainty. But your deeper foundation is genuine resilience. Spirit wants you to know that you are stronger than you currently feel. Even though you're emotionally exhausted from holding everything together. Your fifth card represents your immediate future, what's likely to happen very soon. And you got the Two of Pentacles reversed. This card is saying that this is your immediate future card. And it's saying that the emotional pressure that's already building is about to become harder for you to keep balanced. This card is about overwhelm or burnout or emotional imbalance or financial imbalance or finding it difficult to juggle responsibilities or dropping priorities or reaching a point where you feel like something has to give. Capricorn, you're usually very skilled at managing pressure, responsibilities, schedules, work, and emotional I don't know how to say that word. Compartmentalization. Compartmentalize, you know what I mean. But you're approaching a limit with the Two of Pentacles reversed. You've been trying to push through emotional pain by staying functional, productive, or composed. But the Two of Pentacles says that the strain is becoming visible. Your routine, emotional balance, finances, work-life balance, or mental bandwidth may start slipping. This doesn't necessarily predict catastrophe. It's more of a warning and a turning point. It's saying that you may need to simplify or stop overcommitting or make a difficult choice. Or maybe you have to admit that you can't carry everything alone anymore. This card can also it could also be saying that emotional exhaustion is catching up. It could represent financial stress, scheduling chaos, or maybe you're trying to manage too many competing priorities while feeling emotionally depleted. Your past cards show strength and capability, and the future card says being strong is no longer enough if the emotional weight underneath remains unaddressed. This reading is about a reckoning with sustainability. Pentacles relate to the material world. So this card, the Two of Pentacles reversed, in your immediate future, could indicate work stress, money decisions, time management issues, physical fatigue, or needing to reorganize your priorities quickly. Okay. And then your sixth card is the Two of Wands, and that came out reversed. This card represents the outcome that you desire most in your situation. This card is about a hesitation that's turning into indecision, or there's a fear of choosing a direction, or you're feeling stuck between options, or between should you stay or should you leave energy. Or it could point to a lack of long-term vision or confidence about your future. Or you're avoiding expansion because it feels risky. So your outcome or what you desire, this card is about the inability or the reluctance to choose a path forward. What you what you desire, the outcome that you desire most in your situation is certainty. But this card shows you don't feel you have it. You once had direction and drive. You've been holding everything together through discipline, but something disappointed you or destabilized you emotionally. Your confidence or your recognition took a hit. And now the pressure of balancing everything is starting to break down. Now you feel unable to clearly choose what comes next. Maybe there's a fear of making the wrong decision. Or maybe you feel you're stuck in a situation because if you leave, leaving feels uncertain. Or maybe you want change, but you lack the confidence to commit to a different direction. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just channeling the messages from Spirit. It's not from me. Maybe you can't see a future you fully trust right now, so you're not choosing anything yet. This is really important because you tend to prefer structured, long-term plans. This card suggests that your usual strategic clarity is temporarily disrupted. It's not gone, but it's clouded by emotional and practical overload. These cards are describing a temporary collapse of clarity due to emotional weight and burnout. There's a pause in direction until your emotional balance and confidence are restored. And then your self-image, how you see yourself, is the Temperance card, Sagittarius energy. So you see yourself as someone who's trying to stay balanced and composed, or emotionally controlled or regulated. Or you see yourself as patient, adaptable, responsible, capable of fixing, healing, or moderating difficult situations. Or you see yourself as someone who can blend extremes and keep things together. You see yourself, or you identify with the person, the one who holds it all together. You see yourself as the one who holds it all together. Temperance here is not just calm, it's self-definition through regulation. So you may be minimizing how overwhelmed you actually feel, or you're trying to emotionally manage yourself instead of fully expressing distress. Or you believe that staying composed equals staying safe or competent. You're trying to reconcile those two states inside yourself. Temperance mixes fire and water. The fire is the past ambition and the drive. The water is the emotional grief. And you're trying to reconcile those two states inside yourself. This card is saying you're fine as long as you stay balanced. But the other cards are saying that the balance is currently strained. Externally, people see you handling it. Internally, you feel overwhelmed and uncertain. This card shows a strong capacity for healing and recalibration. You don't see yourself as someone who's broken or defeated. You see yourself as the stabilizer, the adapter, the one who restores equilibrium, even when you're the one who's out of balance. Your environment card, or how others see you and your situation, is the Wheel of Fortune. So, this is a big shift in perspective because it moves your focus away from inner struggle, and it shows how your situation is being shaped externally. So in your environment, or how others see you and your situation, people see this situation as either changing or unstable or in motion. Others see you as being in a phase of transition or fate-driven change. Or this card could be saying that external circumstances like timing, cycles, luck, they're strongly influencing things. People don't fully blame you. They see this as just life happening rather than failure. It represents a cycle turning, the Wheel of Fortune. So others may see you going through a rough but temporary phase. Or maybe others see you as experiencing ups and downs which are outside of your control. Or you're being affected by timing or luck or external shifts. Or maybe you're someone whose circumstances are currently unpredictable, or you're just in a transition period. This card often removes personal blame. So even if you feel the weight of disappointment internally, others may not see it as something you caused or messed up. Others just might see things as like things are just changing for you right now. Internal, there's grief, burnout, a loss of confidence, and indecision. Externally, people see a turning point, just a cycle, or a timing issue. So this card is saying that you may be experiencing your situation more intensely than it appears from the outside. Your Temperance card, your self-image card, you're trying to stay balanced through all this change. The Wheel of Fortune is saying change is happening whether or not you can control it. So these cards together, they're saying that you're trying to stabilize yourself inside a situation that is unstable right now. So from the outside, people likely don't see collapse. They either see movement, transition, or shifting circumstances, but internally you're carrying emotional disappointment or reduced confidence and uncertainty about your direction. And then your hopes and fears, what you hope for and or fear the most in your situation, is the Ace of Swords reversed. So this card is, when it comes out reversed, it's about fear of confusion or mental fog. Maybe you're experiencing that. There may be a fear of miscommunication or saying or doing the wrong thing. Maybe you have anxiety about not seeing the truth clearly, or you feel hesitant. There's some hesitation around decisions that require clarity or confrontation, or you have a desire for truth that feels hard to access. So with regards to hope, this card is saying that you may want clarity about a situation, or you want a clean answer, or you want resolution, or you want mental peace after emotional turbulence, or you want truth that explains everything and restores certainty. With regards to fear, you fear not getting clarity at all, or you fear being stuck in confusion or mixed signals, or you fear making a decision without full understanding, or you fear that realizing the truth, or you're realizing that the truth is painful or incomplete. There's another fear there. A fear of realizing that the truth is painful or incomplete. This card is saying that the central issue isn't just emotional, it's cognitive uncertainty. You may not feel like you have a clean narrative for what's happening. And that can be especially uncomfortable for you because your energy tends to prefer structure and logic and clear cause and effect and actionable decisions. So it's saying that you want the truth, you want clarity, but you're afraid you won't get it, or you're afraid you won't like it. So there's tension between wanting resolution and understanding and fearing that clarity will either not come or will force a difficult decision. That's hard. You have resilience. Underneath it all, Capricorn, you have resilience, self-control. You're balancing your identity. And with the Wheel of Fortune, it's saying that external forces are shifting things. You're trying to emotionally and practically stabilize yourself in a situation that feels unclear, shifting, and difficult to fully understand. This card shows that the real tension here isn't just about outcomes, it's about not having clear mental footing. You want clarity and truth, but you fear that clarity may be delayed or inaccessible or harder than expected to face. And then the outcome, if all is to remain as is the Five of Swords. Okay. This card points to conflict without real resolution, or winning at a cost, or tension, pride, or ego clashes. Or it could represent emotional distance after disagreements, or situations where no one feels truly satisfied with the result. This card could suggest that the current dynamics don't naturally resolve into harmony on their own. They tend to stabilize in tension rather than healing or fully breaking cleanly. So this card could indicate or show emotional stalemates, like no one feels understood, or there may be lingering resentment or disappointment, or your pride could be getting in the way of repair, or there are situations where communication has broken down and stays that way. Even if things continue forward, they do so without full resolution or emotional reconciliation. Remember, you have the strength, you have emotional regulation, you have external change, and you have past capability and drive. This card represents an unchanged outcome. So it's saying without intervention, your situation doesn't naturally resolve into clarity or harmony. It tends to remain emotionally unresolved and slightly disconnected. This card represents, this card is like emotional residue. It's saying that if nothing changes, then you may end up in a situation where the external circumstances move on, but internally or interpersonally, something stays unresolved or tense. So it's a warning about stagnation in communication and emotional closure, not a fixed fate. And then the advice card for the overall reading is the King of Cups. Okay, so after all the tension in this spread, with the Five of Cups, grief, the reverse Six of Wands, which represents your wounded pride, and the overwhelm from the Two of Pentacles reversed, and the indecision with the Two of Wands reversed. and the lingering conflict with the Five of Swords. This card is saying your situation can only be handled through emotional maturity, not force or avoidance. So what the King of Cups is advising is emotional balance without suppression, or calm leadership of feelings, or responding rather than reacting, or having compassion with boundaries, and stability in emotionally complex situations. And this is really important because the earlier cards show a pattern of holding things together, trying to stay composed, but internally struggling with disappointment and uncertainty. So this is the next level of that energy. It's not just staying composed, but stay emotionally aware while you navigate it. Don't stay emotionally stuck in loss. Acknowledge it, but don't live there. Don't rely on external validation to define your worth. Reduce emotional overload by prioritizing stability. Don't force premature decisions under emotional pressure. And remember, clarity comes from emotional honesty, not overthinking. And avoid pride-based conflict or winning arguments that damage the connection. Your situation is emotionally charged, but the solution is not escalation, withdrawal, or over control. It's emotional mastery. This doesn't mean suppress your feelings. It means feel it, but don't be ruled by it. Communicate calmly rather than defensively. Choose emotional integrity over pride or avoidance. And lead yourself through the situation rather than reacting to it. The final outcome card looked tense and unresolved, but this card changes the condition for that outcome. This card implies that if you operate from reactivity or pride or emotional overwhelm, then this Five of Swords energy lingers. But if you operate from emotional maturity and calm awareness, then your situation softens, even if it doesn't fully resolve immediately. So the advice is not passive, it's a corrective influence. The entire reading shows emotional strain, uncertainty, and instability, but this card is the stabilizing force that prevents it from turning into long-term conflict or stagnation. This card is saying that the way through this is emotional leadership, being calm, honest, steady, and not reactive. So Capricorn, basically this reading is saying you feel hurt, stuck, and overwhelmed. You're lacking clarity and recognition, but stay calm. Be emotionally mature. Don't react impulsively, and focus on balance instead of conflict. Peace, peace, peace. So that is your reading. Thank you so much for letting me channel this. This is heavy. This is very heavy. I'm sending you lots of love and strength. You will get through it. This too shall pass, Capricorn. You've got everything you need. You got the Strength card. You've got it. Just keep everything nice and balanced. Peace. Take good care. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Bye.